Hey, thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, from realtors, lenders, builders, developers, residential or commercial, essentially gathering insight, inspiration, what really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else, and what I would like to consider a real estate titan. Our very special guest and featured titan for today, Casey Clark. Casey, thanks so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time. Really excited for this one.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm excited and feel so very honored that you have me on your list.
Awesome. And the honor's all mine. I know that there's a lot of people out here that are super excited to get to know you a little bit better, your why, what drives you, the whole nine, personally and professionally. So let's just dive in, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
So I guess tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up in small town Montana.
Okay.
Love it. I would never take anything back from my childhood. I knew everything. There was something much bigger in my life, and I hadn't been able to always identify what that is. And so I'm very much an opportunity seeker. Yet let's go back to the beginning of the question of why I'm in this career. As a little girl, I grew up total tomboy.
Awesome. Love it.
I had the bowl haircut, okay?
Yes.
Okay, total boy, rips in my jeans, all of that. And my
Awesome.
great aunt would come to visit, and she was from Florida.
Okay.
And I knew that she sold real estate, and that she lived on Chichi Rodriguez's golf course. And I would sit on her lap and play with her jewelry and her gold and diamonds, and that was, I'm going to be a real estate agent.
Okay.
As a little girl, that's
Yeah.
how my passion started.
Yeah, that's crazy that you mentioned that, and why I say that is a lot of the other episodes in Titans, it wasn't, hey, you know, when I was young, I'm going to be a realtor. There's actually only one other Titan thus far that felt that same way, and that's very unique. So obviously, you know, continuing with that. So that was the spark, right?
Yes.
So what did your career look like up until this point? What was the progression, you know, how you got in and into today?
So I really haven't had any other career besides real estate.
Okay.
I went to college. I have my degree in finance with a minor in marketing.
Awesome.
As soon as I got out of college, I started studying for my real estate exam. And I did wait some tables. I was at Olive Garden. I worked at Wells Fargo during the whole transition of my life, and I sucked.
This is honesty here, everybody. This is honesty.
I was terrible my first 2 years.
Okay.
So that's a piece of my passion of helping those agents that come into this field of how do we put the play together of
Okay.
having them fulfilling their dreams.
Sure.
So it was a rough first 2 years for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But making it through and obviously being consistent and
Yes.
persistent, was there anybody in your life at that point that was mentoring or guiding, or what did that look like for you?
My journey has circled back.
Okay.
So I was at Keller Partners for 5 years, or almost 5 years.
Okay.
And then I left for almost 5 years.
Hmm.
And I needed to leave.
Okay.
I needed to grow, and as I said, when I was a little girl, I thought my dream and through college was to own my own boutique. I was actually over at the Platinum Group, which is an amazing, amazing company, and I'm so grateful for their ownership and their leadership and just that group, because they've helped me figure out my path.
Okay.
And then I had opened Clark & Associates, and that was an amazing experience, and I thought that was my baby.
Okay.
Okay. And then Ed Leba called me for coffee again.
That guy, gosh, he's such a good guy.
And he didn't know that I was struggling. I was actually struggling with putting my retirement plan together.
Oh.
And I had my little brokerage. I was a cap-based model as well,
Okay.
because it worked at the first company I was at for 5 years, so let's do that.
Sure.
And yet I only wanted 6 to 12 agents at my office. And then I'm like, okay, I could have almost a 35, 40-year career in this industry
For sure.
from when I first started. And the biggest check I've ever heard of being written
Mm-hmm.
was $250,000 for a database.
Okay.
And I'm like, for a lifetime of work, is that the legacy that I want to be able to leave to my son and to his grandchildren?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't all add up.
Sure.
So I made a big move. I had 100% of my company move back over to Keller Williams.
Wow.
And the past 4 years, or almost 4 years, has been nothing but going uphill. And yet it has opened my mind, or my eyes, of actually being intentional.
Love that.
That I used to run around of, like, buyers and sellers would sometimes rain on me because of my relationships.
Sure.
Yet it was, I'd never written a business plan out. I'd never written my goals out until I came back and was very intentional about what I have is called my 4 conversations and my pipeline and what is going on. And every day I focus on my appointments, my consultations. That is when everything just came together.
Love that. Well, and that's a beautiful tale into, you know, the next question, which is if you could kind of, you know, look at your career, what really drives you, Casey? I mean, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What is your why?
So my why has changed.
Okay.
Almost 14 years ago, it was to pay the bills.
Sure.
I was a hoarder. I'd have a closing, and I didn't have enough baby food. Brixton was just brand new in my business when I finally started to focus and be about real estate.
Okay.
So I'd have a closing, I'd go stockpile baby food. So I was in a scarcity mindset until I started surrounding myself with amazing people. And so my world is about who's in my house, who's in this office. This is my family.
Love it.
And that my why is now with my son of these huge pieces of how do I be the most amazing mom. That's my first priority.
Love it.
And then run a business.
Okay.
There's so many little pieces of my why, because what gets me out of bed is that I get to come to the office and help other agents build their life by design and build their dreams. And it is something amazing that every day I wake up excited that this isn't a job, that I get to change people's lives.
It's huge.
So
There's so many beautiful whys into there when you're talking about family and really longevity, legacy, but then also camaraderie. So your family has expanded into where you work, your career, and this is your kind of work family, which is really great. And I think that you went from a scarcity mindset to an abundance. And not just for financial reasons, but for knowledge and sharing and future success. So that speaks volumes about your brand and obviously the people you surround yourself with. I mean, this is an old adage and everybody out there knows it, but you're guilty by association, positive or negative, the top 5 personal and professional that you have, or you can compound that, but that's who you are. Yeah. So it does matter, culture matters, so obviously you identify that, and that makes a big difference. So let's go into, when it comes to the career thus far and all that, if you could look back and pick or choose maybe 1 or 2 things that you had added or adjusted to take your business from one level to the next. You really saw an increase. What does that look like for you?
Can I jump back 1 second?
Let's do it. This is live, everybody.
The last piece of my why, and Ed has shared this, and I'm like, this is really about my life. Of when I am gone, if I was to be hit by a bus tomorrow, the people that I surround myself with, when I am gone, I want them to walk up to my son Brixton and say, your mom changed my life.
Wow.
That is the biggest piece of why I spend 50% of my time consulting with agents in the office and 50% of my time consulting with agents outside of the office.
Sure.
Is because I have an opportunity to help people wave a magic wand and create the business that they want. So, the two things.
I'm so glad, Casey, and hopefully everybody heard that, because I think that is into the, what are you doing above and beyond just yourself, and what impact are you having on the community? And we kind of discussed this just right before we went live, but being a Titan and featured on this series, it's not just about production, it's about impact, it's about helping others, it's not just about a commission check. It's about that impact you have on that community and all the people around you. So that was hit really, really nicely. Hopefully everybody got that about Casey. So, yeah, systems, things that you might have added that took it to another level for your business.
So just running the play. It is about tracking for the business. It is about tracking your appointments. It is identifying your goals. I can have a business plan with 2 pages. I call it a 135 and a 411.
Okay.
That on one page at any season of my life or any season of the market, I can identify, do I want to go and have the team get 60 new listings, or what is the goal? And we can, on one piece of paper, identify the plan to make that happen. So it is very much in my calendar that's right over here. I have my goals all written out, and yes, I am a paper calendar person.
That's right.
Yet I put it into my online calendar as well.
Okay.
Sometimes I struggle with that, real life.
Yeah, that's the
Yet,
truth. That's the truth.
I think my business has changed and my life has changed with my calendar.
Okay.
I black out my son's school events.
Wow.
I've already blacked out his school year.
Okay.
And so I know exactly when there's a field trip, when he has days off. I plan me time. And then we have a regional calendar of training. I have that blacked out,
Okay.
so that lead gen time is blacked out. If I erase, I replace.
Okay. Yeah, truly.
That's what you have to do, you know.
And I think that's huge advice for everybody out there. It doesn't matter if you're newer into the business or you're seasoned. Time blocking is crucial. But then what I love about what you said is that you do take time for what really matters into your life as well, with family and your time. You're not trying to burn it at both ends. You're going to burn out. So you have to have that balance.
Yeah.
And you know how it is when you're in that higher level of mindset and thought process. You just want to go, go, go. And if there is time, you're going to fill it with something. So try to block
Yes.
that out. I think that's great advice
Yes.
for everybody, and to take it up a notch for sure. So let's go into the tricky question when it comes to this. And this gives a window for everybody into your personality and challenges that we go through, because we all have challenges.
Yes.
Whether it's in the past, now, or we haven't experienced it yet. But I think what really matters is not so much what happens, but how we overcome. So if you could share a challenge you dealt with, Casey, that you overcame that made you stronger because of it, what does that look like for you?
I'm an opportunity seeker, and I want to create opportunity for other people.
Okay.
So that is a challenge of sometimes that I feel that maybe that person in my world at that time does not want opportunity or to do the hard work that it takes to have opportunities come to you.
Sure.
You know, so I think sometimes I've written checks for people, you know, of if they're having a hard time. I wear my emotions kind of on my sleeve. I'm very much a giver of how can I help your world succeed.
Right.
And then there's sometimes you learn that you have to pull that back, because it's about my son, it's about my family as well, and that there's this perfect equilibrium that happens. Yet there's sometimes that you stumble through it and you're like, what the heck did I just do?
Sure.
Why did I do that? So my mom works with me as well, so I'm very, very blessed to have her as a part of the team, because she's kind of my red light, green light of, Casey, what the heck?
Your conscience, your Jiminy Cricket, if you will. Yeah.
That sometimes I'll go down this, but Mom, I'm helping this person, and she's like, but you're not, you're enabling them.
Okay.
You know, so it's finding that perfect of how do you help everyone around you grow, yet put it all together.
Sure.
I think back when we were in our recession, that I at first started was like, ooh, these people are losing their homes. These are my friends.
Right.
They're losing their homes, they're losing their cars, and I started in that mindset. And then all of a sudden I was, heck no, that is not happening. And during our recession is when my business actually started to go up.
Wow, okay.
And that's when I actually changed, in the morning, positive affirmations. Me and my son on the way to school talk about what we're grateful for every single morning. That it is so much, I wake up happy, and I force myself, and now it's pretty easy, but that changes our life.
Sure.
You know, so during those hard times, like I said, when I was pinching pennies and stockpiling on baby food, that this whole journey has led to where I am today. And I do a simple thing. I click my fingers if I feel that my head's going into the wrong direction, or to focus on something. If I'm in a seminar or a class and I can see myself drifting in a la-la land instead of paying attention,
sure.
like you'll hear me
Casey.
snap. Or if I'm going, like I had a difficult conversation with somebody that they weren't happy about something, you'll hear me sometimes just have click my fingers, and it changes my mindset of, oh, heck no, you're not going that route.
Unreal.
And
And it does. I think
Okay.
that there's a lot in there, so I know that everybody appreciates that as well
Okay.
as I do, because it's the act that we take to overcome whatever challenges are there. And no matter how successful we are, what impact we have in the community, we all deal with things. But it's just figuring out what works for us, reaching out to people, having affirmations, knowing and putting yourself in the right place. I think that that's really, really positive. You're not letting it consume you, though, is the point. You're not saying, oh gosh, here's another challenge my way, I'm going to give up.
Yeah, let's 1-3-5 it.
Yeah. There you go. There you go, everybody. This is great. This is great. Okay, so thanks for sharing.
Okay.
That's not the easiest thing to do when
Yeah.
it comes to challenges, so I appreciate that. So let's go a little softer when
Okay.
it comes to, and this is one of my favorite questions. So if you could travel back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice or two in any stage of your life, what would you say to younger Casey?
Younger Casey. Okay, so I had a high school coach
Okay.
that, I'll use the good word. He told me to pull my head out of my behind.
Okay.
Okay, that's the good word.
You can
behind,
say whatever
okay?
you want. This is live, so you're good. You're fine.
So
It's all good.
I thought my mom was gonna walk down to the basketball court and probably take my coach out.
Wow.
Yet that is something that I consistently tell myself, and it's not really that my head's
No,
there,
sure, it's not.
but it is. Okay, am I thinking small?
Okay.
Is my world big enough for the vision of this company? Is my vision big enough for all of the agents within this company?
Sure.
That me and Ed, the OP, we consult on a daily basis of what are my tasks, that all back to my high school basketball coach, that I consistently kind of tell myself that of,
Sure.
okay, what am I doing to get there and to
Okay.
help others get there?
So, I think that's great. So I guess if you look at it from that standpoint is to not put the limitations on
Yeah.
yourself. I mean, and that's the biggest issue that I think a lot of us have. And it doesn't matter what profession you're in, is the only limits in our life are those that we say, oh, you can't do that.
Oh, I love it. Tell me that all day long.
Okay, watch me.
So yeah,
right?
our goal is to be #1 in Pikes Peak Association of Keller Williams Partners. Will be #1.
You heard it here live, everybody.
That is our goal, and I've had people say, Casey, that's not happening.
No.
When I'm just like, let's go.
Let them say.
I have
Let
a
'em
play to run. I will, we as a team in this building will get it done.
Sure.
When I came back, we were sitting number 11 in the board, and now we're number 6. And that hasn't even been 4 years ago. Okay, we just took number 5 spot in units closed. So, keep looking,
It's
keep
there.
watching.
It's
going.
coming. No limits, everybody. Okay, cool. So, and that's really, really good. Not just for young Casey, but for everybody. That's huge advice to take, no doubt. So, let's go into the feeding of the mind question, because a lot of the viewers that watch this, they want to know what the Titans are reading, podcasts they're listening to, influencers, social media, so that they can grow their minds the same way. So, what does that look like for you? Books, podcasts, influencers?
Huge books. I love the paper piece. I have my copy of the MREA, also the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Wonderful.
When that first came out, other companies would hide it. Now it's kind of the Bible of real estate.
Across the board.
Yeah, across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, I read it once a year, and I highlight in my one of different colors, and it is amazing to see how my life has changed. And as a new agent, so the first time I read this, I was about 25 years old, and I'm not going to calculate how old I am now. Okay.
We're not going to calculate that, everybody.
Yet, I couldn't read it as a millionaire.
Okay.
I came from waiting tables in college.
Sure.
I'd never had the mindset of making $1 million. So the first time I read it as 100,000.
Okay.
And each year it's sitting at $1 million now.
Love it.
It's don't be intimidated by that book, but that is the game plan of you can start a coffee shop with it. You can fix and flip homes with it. Most importantly, you can build an empire and be able to leave a legacy by running the play in that book.
That's huge.
Okay.
cool.
So we have an ALC, which is the Agent Leadership Council.
Okay.
We just got done reading John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
okay.
And anything John Maxwell is amazing.
Okay.
That is one of my go-to books to read, authors to read.
Awesome.
Okay. And now we're starting the Shift. So Shift is another amazing business building book of let's red light, green light. Let's analyze our businesses and make sure that are we spending money where we shouldn't be? You know, how are we operating? Especially some people are saying that we're in the shift. Some people are saying that we still have another 3-5 years.
Wow.
Why? We need to start educating and preparing. Like I said, I remember having friends losing houses, losing their cars. Like,
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. It happens in our industry.
Sure.
So how do you prepare for it, and how do you grow from it?
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, more books. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, hit me.
Yeah, so I
I'm a
haven't
book
got this
junkie.
yet, but there's
Yeah.
this book that I see. So I belong to a couple like lady leaders, and
awesome.
I'm very much about seeing other women just grow huge businesses.
Okay.
So there's a book out that's Girl Wash Your Face,
Cool.
and I'm excited to dive into that. Just all over the board,
Okay.
you know, all of it's pretty much business building and how to make myself a better person,
Right.
a better leader, and just always be able to keep growing and pushing any ceilings that I may have.
Love it. And I think that you have so many good offerings into there. And just so everybody knows, as usual, I'm going to have the links in the comments below so you can feed your mind the same way Casey does. But I think that that's some really important things inside there is that, you know, leaders are readers. And obviously, you're constantly consuming. You never know it all. You're growing every single day. And I think that's really, really important for everybody to take away is just keep consuming the data, get smarter, get better.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with great people,
Yeah.
too. So this has been amazing, and thanks so much. It's been chock full of awesome information. So last question to kind of wrap everything up, Casey. And this is really a tell into who you are as a person, a professional.
Okay.
So if you could pick a quote or a mantra that you might live by that really sums you up, what does that look like for Casey Clark?
There's a lot. Okay, so
Okay.
speed of the leader, speed of the pack.
Okay.
That is huge to me. And it's not only of just you and me being leaders, it is which leaders do we surround ourselves with, and how fast are they going, and how fast are they trying to help other people build their businesses. So speed of the leader, speed of the pack is huge to me.
Okay, love it. That's
I
great.
could pretty much just live my life on that.
Okay.
Just culture of abundance and having my life, building my life by design.
Okay.
Those are huge pieces, you know.
And I think that that really sums everything up that we just spoke about beautifully, and that everybody that knows you and loves you and respects you, I mean, they're seeing everything in this community. So hopefully anybody who didn't know Casey got a beautiful window into how amazing she is and the impact that she's made on the community, not just, you know, locally with her family and her team, but outside of it. So Casey, thanks so much for taking the time. You are an official real estate titan in my book.
Thank you.
So this is great stuff. So thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate you taking the time. As always, live every Tuesday and Friday afternoons, different titan, different location. I appreciate your time and attention, your love and support, and we will catch you on the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care.
Bye.
And we are